Okay, shout out to the moderators. This is a new feature of our live stream. Somebody else handling the functionality for me. I wasn't ready for that. They stopped a little early and caught me off guard. What's going down, everyone? Good afternoon. Appreciate you tuning in. This is part 3 of the mini producer trilogy. That sounds like a film title, doesn't it? It has a ring
Yes,
to it though.
it does have a ring to it.
No, oh my god, I got to address some stuff in the chat. Show us a new plaque. I have 2 plaques from Atlantic that they have not approved of yet, so let's not bring those up. I'm not trying to cry on camera again.
Okay.
I think I cried the last time my mic stopped working. A lot of people are excited for today. I
Yes,
don't think
I'm excited.
we haven't had a stream since last year, right?
Yeah, we haven't streamed since, man. Time passes by when you're having fun.
That's the only explanation for it, I think.
It really is. I know I'm in a different location right now, but I had to find a quiet space, so hopefully everyone can see me well enough.
Oh, and shout out to Wendy Snyder in the back. She's shooting a documentary. Shout out to Dane
Awesome.
Arts as well. So, mini producer and everybody in the chat are potentially a part of this documentary. I
Wow.
don't know if it's a documentary that showcases my merits or my dark side, but we'll see when it comes out. So, how are you feeling? I mean, you're outside. I can't really be outside right now because it's raining. So already you're winning.
I'm feeling great, honestly. I can't complain. The weather is nice, so I had to take advantage of the fact that the weather is great because here where I'm at, it just can be fickle, deciding what it wants to do.
True. Yeah, and apparently people are concerned that wild animals may interrupt the stream. I would love to see that on your end because maybe they're talking about me. It's always my cat that interrupts the stream.
Yeah, maybe some birds. I think we'll get some birds that chirp because they're definitely live out here.
Background noise is minimal though, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right into it. I feel like the answer to this is yes, but I want to know has your beat uploading schedule or strategy changed since the last time we spoke last year?
Yes, it has changed. I've definitely done a lot more collaborations. If you see on my Twitter, I have been a beast when it comes to posting. I've collaborated with a lot more producers than I have done in a long time. So yes, I've uploaded a bunch of beats to my BeatStars. It's been an incredible journey, honestly. But yes, I've definitely uploaded more beats since we last spoke.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna skip to that question because the big controversial statement you made. I know this is the third time I'm bringing it up, but it was you
Yes,
remember, I make 10 up to 10 beats a day, right? And that
yeah,
was your explanation of it was fine,
yeah,
I think people completely ignored that part because they just reacted to that number.
yes,
But who was it? I don't remember which user it was who asked. Well, if you make 10 beats a day, this is the third interview. I can go a little harder on you. If you're
yes.
making 10 beats a day, where are they? So the softball version of that is, what do you do with all those beats? Because I know you don't upload all 10.
No, I don't. And that's the thing. I was just talking about this on my live. Is that when you do a lot of quantity, you get to quality. Because I know there's this argument about quality over quantity and stuff. But because I made a lot of beats, it helped up my quality because I had to make a lot of beats to get to the point that I'm at now. So I mean, I know that that's a controversial statement, and it always will be, especially in our community. But when it comes to what I do with the beats, most of the time I'm either submitting for opportunities. I mean, thankfully I'm in a position where I do have the ability to submit, to A&Rs that I know. I know you're probably going to bring this up, but I'm a VIP member at Beat Club, so I've been submitting beats to those opportunities directly. So all of my beats don't necessarily go on my website, but they are submitted for opportunities, whether it's for actual artists or sync placement type things. So I mean, my beats don't just stay on my hard drive. And if it's a beat that I'm proud of and I feel like could go somewhere, then I definitely submit it to what I have access to.
Okay, so then how do you make that determination? What do you decide goes on the website? What do you decide goes towards placement opportunities? And then is there ever overlap in between those categories? I know producers all have very different opinions and strategies for that question.
It depends on, so like sometimes I'll upload, so for instance, sometimes I'll upload a beat to my website that I'll in turn upload to like an opportunity, let's say for Beat Club. And let's say Beat Club gets back to me and says, hey, we're gonna playlist this beat for whatever opportunity. Then I'll take it off my website because there is a likelihood that it could be chosen for that placement. And it also depends on what the rules are for that opportunity. So if it has to be beats that can't be public, then of course I wouldn't put it on my website because there are some opportunities like, hey, this has to be exclusive to this opportunity or whatever it is. So I make that determination. If it's something that is like I can't put on my website, then I won't put it on there and just submit for that opportunity and let the
Yeah.
chips fall where they may. And then if I don't have that restriction, then I'll put it on my website. And then if I know that I'm going to submit it for an opportunity, though, then I won't offer the exclusive license for it, just due to the fact that I don't want a situation where like I sell the exclusive license and then I find out that I got a placement opportunity for
Yeah.
something bigger, and now I just have to deal with all these legalities and things with that. So that's typically how I determine. It just really depends on the opportunity and what my end goal is for the beat itself.
Okay, that makes it. So does the fact that you make so many beats help with that strategy? Because if you're making I'm you make a minimum of 10 a week, am I right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, it's probably more like 20. So if you have 20 beats per week and
yes.
you can afford to upload, and I know you don't do this, but you could afford to theoretically upload to BeatStars 7 days a week,
I
and
could,
then you would
yes.
still have, 13 left to go in whichever direction you want.
Exactly. And I just want to make a note that something that does at least help me is I have been doing a lot more collaborations with different producers, and that's by choice because of course I could choose to do it by myself as well. I've done it
Yeah.
before. But I have been doing more collaborations, and that's more because since I have had more opportunities to like submit for beats on Beat Club, I've just wanted to open up those opportunities to producers that I work with regularly, because I know that I'm definitely grateful to have access to certain things. So I want to be able to give opportunities to other people that may not have those opportunities at present. So that's what's been helping me also with the consistency and more uploads in regards to beats as well.
Yeah, I want to talk about collaborations, but I'm glad you brought up the quality versus quantity debate. I heard this actually this morning, and I just had to reference it quick. It was at the University of Florida
Hmm.
where there was a teacher um, in a photography professor who divided the class in two halves. One had the assignment to be graded on the quantity of photos they took. The other would be graded on one single photo. And this is a very small sample size, but it's a cool anecdote, which is that at the end of the experiment, the students who created the most pieces actually
Hmm.
had the better pieces because they weren't putting so much pressure on themselves. And I feel like, that's what I want to articulate when I get into this debate with people. What's your take on it? Because there was backlash from our conversation regarding the 10
Yes.
beats a day thing.
Yes, I've heard of that study, not necessarily the one that you said was in Florida, but I have heard of that conversation being brought up of different studies that have shown that like the people that more so focused on quantity, the quality was subjectively better. And that's what I want to get into more so is everything is subjective, right? So I could play you a beat of someone that we may consider a legend versus someone that's unknown, and you may like the person who's unknown better than the legend. I mean, so quality is very subjective in the ears of each listener. You know what I mean? So I was saying this actually on my live that when I first started making beats, and you know this, I've been in the online space since 2014. So, you know, a lot of things have changed. And when I first started, I was not that great. And you know, I still sold beats online. I still made sales even then, you know what I mean, when I didn't know anything about mixing or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, the quality wasn't that great. It wasn't. And but to some listeners, they really enjoyed something about those beats that made them still want to use them, which could be for various reasons. So I really do believe that a lot of this quality debate is just very subjective. You know what I mean? And at least for me personally, the quantity, the amount of beats that I've been able to make have helped me get better each and every time. I mean, even if you listen to my beats now, they're better than when we talked last time, which is crazy because, and again, it's just helped me progress by making a lot of beats, but also I've been making beats, you know, since I was in high school, since 2010. You know what I mean? So like it's just very different. There weren't really this many debates, I feel like, when I first started about this whole quality. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't pay attention to it, but I feel like I've been hearing more so now about this debate. But um I don't know. I think it's all subjective, and I think we should just really focus on having fun and creating. And however your creative process is, then that's you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna look down on someone that makes one beat a week or one beat a month or whatever works well for them. We're all in different situations. And you know, I feel like as long as you're putting in the work that is substantial enough for what you can do, then that's really what matters, and having a good time while doing it.
So let's jump into the collab conversation. So I have
Okay.
noticed that, of course, because I'm stalking your Twitter. That's what I do
Yes,
before I jump on these.
exactly. You have to.
Yeah, and you've been posting a bunch of screenshots of BeatStars sales
Yeah.
notifications, and a lot of them have been, I think, probably half of them at least have been collabs, right?
Yes,
Is
they
there a
have.
Porsche in the background, by the way? I
No,
think
it's not.
Blufo's misidentifying it.
It's not. It's not. It's not a push.
Okay.
It,
We can always count on him to derail the conversation.
yes.
Sorry, collabs though. So, um, recently I've noticed a increase in collabs.
Yes.
What are some of the benefits that you've noticed? Because this is, when a producer asked me, what are some things that I need to do? I just had this conversation with my best friend who was trying to get more active in BeatStars and increase his sales, and I said, collaborate horizontally, vertically if you can, but certainly horizontally. And what has been your experience?
Oh man, I mean, collaborating has benefited me so much in the fact that it does create these like sales that you're just sometimes not expecting. So you know, I'll get a notification that I got a sale, and I'm like, oh, I wonder where it came from, and it'll be from a collaboration that I did with someone else. And it's crazy. Something I want to mention because you know, when I collaborate with people, my goal is not to make sales. And I know it's gonna sound weird. Like, what do you mean by that? When I collaborate with someone, it's because I genuinely want to collaborate. And when the sales come, then that is a benefit of the collaboration because I'm sure you know this. A lot of times, and I get it because you know people have different reasons for needing to make money. I understand, but I feel like when you go into it like, oh, I want to collaborate with you solely because I want to make sales, or I know you make a lot of sales. I just feel like the outcome that you're looking for doesn't always necessarily happen. But when I go into a collaboration of like, man, I think this is a really dope producer, and I just really want to create something dope, then I make a set. It's like it's weird. I know it sounds probably counterintuitive, and people are gonna think it sounds real like what far out, I guess. But I collaborate with people based off of talent and because I want to. And when we do make a sale, that makes it even better. And you know, I've collaborated with a variety of people, people that make consistent sales every day, someone who maybe they haven't made a sale yet, and I become their first sale or whatever it is. I've collaborated with a range of people, and it's just helped me to focus on collaborating with people based off of I actually genuinely want to collaborate with them, because I'm sure you know this more than anyone, is you can feel when someone's reaching out to you because they want to essentially benefit off of something that you can provide, or they feel like you'll give to them, you know what I mean? And I like when I feel like there's a value exchange when I collaborate with someone, and less of a like, you're just taking from me, or I'm just taking from you. I like there to be value on both sides when I'm collaborating, and that's what I consider when I do collaborate with someone else.
Yeah, that's why I pointed out that horizontal collaboration is great because you have some you might have 100,000 plays, they might have 100,000 plays, but it's not the same as and I guess I'm technically in the top seller category, but that's a very wide range.
Right,
So if you compare me to say uh like Seeds, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He's probably not too eager to collaborate with me in terms of exacting any sort of benefit from the situation. So
right.
like I feel like in that instance, and people ask me all the time, would you pay for a collab? I'm like, yeah, with someone like him that's consistently selling on the top 20, yeah, sure. Because there's actual value, then there's
Yeah,
more of a
exactly.
value exchange.
Hmm.
So this is a great question. And I get asked this all the time from people that want to collaborate with me but are new to the process. So when you collab, do both producers post the same beat to their pages?
Hmm. So that's actually a good question. I post a beat on my page, and I do obviously like when someone else posts a beat on their page because I feel like it's a collaboration. But to be honest, I don't always get that. People don't always post the collab, even if they think it's dope. I mean, and I don't really know why that is. But
Oh
I
wait, I haven't posted the collab you sent me. That
no,
was unintentional. Sorry, sorry,
no,
sorry.
I know you're busy. That's different, man. No, it's not to call anyone out. I'm just saying in general. Like I do know that like when I do collaborate with some, typically we have a conversation. So I do like to keep an open like, hey, what are the plans with this collab? Because sometimes some people are like, hey, I'm gonna send it for an opportunity. I'm not gonna put it on my site. Then I won't, and I'll submit it for opportunity. I mean, it's all a conversation. And again, I don't take it personal if someone doesn't upload our collaboration because. It's not that big. I'm not gonna fight you, and I'm gonna be like, "Wow, such and such did put their collab." Like you know what I mean. I'm so mad now. Like I don't care about that kind of stuff. I got more things to focus on.
But
Um,
correct me if I'm wrong. There's value in my opinion is there's value in posting on both pages because you may
yes,
have entirely different
yes,
followings.
audiences. Yes, I do think it's beneficial to put it on both. However, I know that that doesn't always happen, and I've definitely learned in my journey not to take that personal. But yes, I situation wise, if a perfect situation when I do collaborate, I want it to be on both pages.
So here's a question from VB Coalition. What are you looking for in terms of genre when you collaborate with producers, or are you pretty open?
I'm open. I am more versatile than ever at this point in my journey when it comes to the type of artists I'm working with and beats that I'm doing. So I'm open to the type of producers that I collaborate with.
Okay, got it. Here's a good question. How should, because we talked about kind of some of the do's and don'ts and, being disingenuous and just trying to get a benefit out of a collaborative situation rather than really wanting to work with the person.
Yeah.
That's definitely a red flag. How should producers approach other producers for collabs in your experience?
Oh, this is a good one. This is so great because I deal with this so much since I've been posting videos. And huh, here's my thing. When you reach out, one, just make it a simple conversation, like a question. Like I enjoy when producers are like, hey, I really have enjoyed your beats, and I wanted to know if you're open to collaborations right now. Because one, it doesn't make me feel like I'm being held hostage by your loops. Like if I don't take them, you know what I mean. There's going to be consequences, and it also creates a conversation of like, hey, are you open to collaborations? Because I might not have the time to collaborate, or um so when you ask like, hey, are you open to it, and then if I answer and say yes, that would be great. Here's where you can send samples to. Now if you want to ask me like, oh, what types of loops are you looking for right now, because maybe I am working on a certain project where I need guitar loops or piano or ambient, whatever. But I would just say maybe not being so because at least for me, I just don't work well with that when I feel like forced to do something. And also, for my loop makers out there, or sample makers, or people that primarily make samples, don't feel don't take it personal if someone is not either open to collaborations or just doesn't have the time to collaborate. It's not, more oftentimes than not, it's not a personal attack on your ability to make loops or anything like that. Because I know for myself, I personally, I have a lot of sample makers that I already work with. So it is hard for me, especially at this point, to collaborate with all the producers that like DM
Yeah.
me and want to work. So
And when they get your email, I don't know what it is. There has to be some secret Discord server
yeah,
where
with my emails being passed around, and I just like look at my email, and it's like such and such loops, and I'm like, what do I do with this?
you feel that way too. Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're like I'm not hearing sometimes I hear some pretty awful ones, but for the most part, they're all good. They're
yeah,
just, I'm like, damn, you're flooding me. Cause I have, you work with people, I work with people.
yes,
I make
make,
loops.
yes, yes.
Like very close friends of mine do too. So for me
Mm-hmm.
to really step outside of that circle, it just has to be amazing and I have to be in the right space to even listen
Yes,
to a Dropbox folder full of like 50 different. Sometimes I'm in the mood and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. But
yes, exactly.
sometimes people just don't have the time.
Exactly. And that's definitely me. Sometimes I do not have the time to collaborate. And I used to feel bad about it, but now I'm kind of in a place where it's like, it is what it is. And I hope that people don't take it personal when I can't work with them.
Oh, your lighting was really great just a second ago. Now you're back to
Yeah,
normal.
I know. I'm moving over because I realize it's a little bit dark. This is the benefits of being in a chair where I just kind of move in a space and you'll see me traveling. All right. Oh, that feels better. Okay, y'all. There we
Yeah, you just
go.
gotta find it because I don't wanna have
Oh,
you
look
damage
at
your
that.
eyes with the sun.
No, this is great. Can y'all see me
Okay.
better? Do I look better?
You look good fine before, but yeah,
Okay.
it's you're less shadowy.
Okay, awesome.
We're not trying to dim your light here. So you recently let's jump into some more controversy. You recently posted a funny video about
Oh, good.
guaranteed placement. Wasn't it the placement fairy?
Yes.
Okay, are you seeing that scam a lot? Because I
Yo,
don't even want to talk about it. I want to let you talk about this.
yeah, I mean, it's just, here's the deal. I will be upfront. I have, in my career, I have paid for a few collabs. I don't pay for them really anymore. I don't have the need to, just because of the types of people I'm able to collaborate and opportunities. But if anyone guarantees a placement, like run away or roll away. I mean, if you can't walk, like me. But like there is no guarantee. I mean, it's all in the artist's hands or whatever opportunities hands. Like if someone's like, "Yo, if you pay me $200, like I got you. I'm gonna get Drake on this beat tonight." Like like run
And
away.
it's
Like
always something crazy like $200 for some
yeah,
massive
I'm like,
star.
where are these prices coming from? Like y'all got a price sheet, like yeah, written down. Like all right, 200 for Drake. I'm gonna and here's the thing. It's unfortunate because oh man, it's gonna be a little controversial, but whatever. This is what we're here for. I understand that a lot of producers who get to a certain point that are able to provide opportunities. I don't want to say they prey on like smaller producers or lesser known producers, but
They
like
do.
they do, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's okay at all. And so just if you're a producer out there, I get that, you want to get to a certain place in your career and you want to get those placements and the notoriety, but just be smart about it, and not everyone is looking out for you in your best interest, and just be aware of why someone is looking to, either make a connection like, yo bro, if you pay me to it, like, I got you, man. Like, be careful, because to be honest, a lot of the collaborations that I've done, even as of recently, with producers who have more opportunities than me, have been actual genuine connections because I put myself out there, and I didn't have to pay. So, and I also want producers to know that you have value as well. So if you're a person that makes a lot of samples, you are really an asset to a lot of producers out there. I'm gonna say that, like, if you make really great samples and loops or whatever, like, hold on to that. Don't feel like, oh man, this person has a big opportunity, so I gotta pit. Like, yo, keep putting out those dope samples, because I've seen a lot of connections be made through the fact that people are just putting themselves out there, and I think it's very valuable, especially now, to be a sample maker or to create really amazing samples, because I know that that has helped a lot of producers get a lot of opportunities. I mean, that's how producers I collaborate with now get opportunities that I have, because it helps the process of beat creating be a lot easier.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are producers whose entire, and I don't want to downplay the whole, this is another one of those stupid conversations where it's, people will make statements to the effect of, if you're just using loops, all you're doing is adding drums, you're just a programmer,
Oh
you don't know
man,
what.
I can't stand that conversation. I mean, because there's a lot, as you know, to drum programming in itself, sound selection, arranging a beat. If you're, I know in my case, like, I'm not only doing the drums, even if I don't add another melody, but sometimes I'm making the play. Sometimes I'm the one that's submitting the beats for the opportunities and getting those placements. So another thing I want to say is, like, everyone has value. So I think this whole, like, value contest of, like, who's doing more or who's worth more or whatever is just a silly conversation to be having in the first place. I mean, as long as we're creating something that's great, I don't really think it matters, because I treat anyone that I'm collaborating with, whether I'm doing the sample or they're doing the sample or whatever, as an equal partner, and we're just working together and creating something dope. So I think it's a silly conversation and takes away from the goal at hand, which is should be creating something really special. But a lot of these conversations take away from that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it has echoes of the previous and very much related conversation of who gets the majority split, the
Yeah,
sample maker or the person who places, and you tend to find that the dynamic is generally whoever creates the loop or the sample is not the one who is placing typically.
right.
I don't know why that is, but again, it goes back to what you're saying. Everyone has value, so I don't know. Do you what's your opinion on that? If you find yourself in a scenario where someone sends a loop, but you get the placement, what are you open to in terms of splits?
I do 50-50 splits, and that's just because, like, my late mentor, he definitely taught me a lot about just, I guess, the ego in it, and not seeing myself as more important than someone else. Because even for my mentor Simon, when he was alive, when we were collaborating, I mean, more times than not, when there was an opportunity that happened, it was because of him. But he was never like, "Oh, you're gonna get 20%, I'm getting 80% because you didn't do it." That's not how it worked. So if I work with someone else who makes the sample or the loop or whatever, then I'm gonna give you a fair split. I mean, that's just how I work. I know that this is a conversation that I've seen, like, on different platforms, that people spoke about, like, oh, I'm okay with taking less if I just make the sample. But I feel like the long term relationship is more important to me than worrying about splits. or worrying about percentages, because I'd rather be able to keep a connection with someone that I really value as a creator than be like, oh, you're only gonna get 20%, and then I never work with them again because I just thought that, like, I should get more because I placed it. Like, if we get a placement together, then I'm happy for both of us and just glad that I was able to have that opportunity. Because again, as I mentioned, there have been points in time in my career where I didn't have the ability to give opportunities to anyone, but people gave opportunities to me and didn't see me as lesser than them because I didn't have that ability to do so. So I move with the whole 50-50 splits thing, or if there's another sample maker, you know how it goes, 25-25 or whatever. You know what I mean? The splits have to be, but I'm all about doing equal splits.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little
Hmm.
to YouTube. Are you back to, I know we kind of talked about this the last time we spoke, and you
Yeah.
were phasing out uploading beats, but what I noticed was you still have one foot in. You can't stay away.
Yes.
So you have been uploading beats to YouTube, and what is interesting to me, and
Hmm.
I'm just curious as to what your overall strategy is. The beats that you upload do pretty well.
Yeah.
So do you ever plan on splitting your channels? Maybe, get starting a new one just for the
So it's
producer
it's
content?
funny. I actually have a second channel now that I had like started a while ago, but never really uploaded to. So I started uploading beats on that more consistently. Because I always like to test stuff, so I like to see what kind of works. So I do have a second channel that I'm uploading beats, which is why if you look on my YouTube channel currently, you're not seeing a lot of beats because I do have a second channel that I am putting beats on to start like more so from scratch, just to see what strategies work and stuff like that. And again, as you know, in this creative space, things just continue to evolve, and you kind of figure out like, okay, I did this, but like I really want to try this out and stick to something to see what really works for you. So yes, I have started a second channel in regards to uploading beats and just figuring out like how I want to title my beats. Like if I want to go the type beat route where it comes to like an artist, or if I want to just go at like melodic guitar beat. Like I actually uploaded our collab on YouTube, and that's on my second channel, and that's been the best performing one thus far on the channel. And I only have like 11 subscribers on that channel because I literally have just started uploading. And so I just named it like melodic guitar beat 2022 or whatever. So it's not even an artist. So I've been trying out that, and also like seeing what thumbnails I want to use and things like that, having a certain thumbnail style, and it's just helped me figure out kind of how I want to go about growing my channel. And yeah, that's what I've been doing.
So when you look at your analytics,
Hmm.
where is most of your beat store traffic coming from?
Okay, so a lot of it, honestly, for me now has come from Twitter, and that's because Twitter has just had a really great conversion rate for me, just due to the fact that the types of videos that I'm putting on this platform are more so unique in the grand scheme of things, because a lot of times when you see producers upload videos of them like playing their beats, it's typically on like Instagram or like other platforms. So it's been easier to grow on Twitter, and that's where I've seen most of my traffic go to, is through Twitter.
That's interesting because I think it might have been, I don't know, 2 years ago. Twitter
Hmm.
really took a nosedive in terms of its engagement. And I
Wow.
don't know if they were testing out an algorithm. I was like, I'm done with Twitter. I didn't finish with Twitter. I'm like you with YouTube. I just couldn't stay away.
Yeah.
And suddenly the engagement skyrocketed. And
Hmm.
compared to the YouTube algorithm, which is terrible,
Yeah, it's
Instagram,
a lot
which
messy.
is really starting to choke out organic reach,
Yeah.
it's only gotten better. So I'm not surprised that you would say Twitter is a source, but a lot of producers have gotten off Twitter and stayed away.
Hmm.
Let me ask you about Facebook then,
Okay.
because at some point you said that Facebook was a good source of traffic for you, but a lot of people have pretty much abandoned it. And are you still actively posting, or have you abandoned it as well?
I haven't abandoned Facebook at all. I do think Facebook is still a great platform. It's just something for me. I've really been trying to focus on building up certain platforms because what I've noticed is when I like try to spread myself too thin, it just becomes an overwhelming experience for me. So right now my focus has been Twitter only because like I know how to grow my Facebook. You know what I mean? Like I know that if I posted tomorrow on my Facebook page, I'm gonna get engagement. Like I know how to build up that platform. So now I've been really hyper focusing on Twitter because that was a platform that I didn't feel like I was very strong at. So I haven't abandoned Facebook. I've just focused more so on how can I grow my Twitter to where I want to grow it, like I've done with other platforms.
How about TikTok? How was that going for you?
Oh man, TikTok and here's the thing. I do enjoy TikTok. From a standpoint of it's got great traffic that you can get. I get a lot. I would say TikTok and Twitter are my two biggest like platforms that I actually get people clicking to link wise. Um, but the one thing, and this is just a unique situation for me, having a very apparent disability on TikTok has definitely kind of caused a little bit of discouragement because I have gotten a lot of bullying when it comes to being on TikTok versus any other platform that I've been on. And I know that that's unique to my situation because I've seen other producers on the platform and their comment section is nothing like mine has been. So I would say yes, TikTok has great traffic just overall. You know, if you're a producer, I would say get on TikTok because you can channel it. And I know producers that get sales because they are on TikTok. It's just in my situation in particular, I have dealt with a lot of bullying just due to the fact that people want to be mean. But I've gotten sales because of TikTok, and I've gotten inquiries and opportunities because I am on TikTok, which is why I still utilize it. Um, and something for me in particular, I've kind of changed up my strategy with TikTok is where I'll post a video where it'll ask a question of like which beat do you like better. So I'll have two beats in the video, and that's helped deter a lot of people from like essentially bullying me. Because I'm having them focus on like two beats and they kind of have to answer questions. But all in all, just in general, I think if you're a producer, you should definitely get on TikTok because there is a lot of organic reach and just engagement that you can get, and a video can just blow up out of nowhere. I have videos with hundreds of thousands of views, so it's definitely possible.
There goes the Porsche.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
what are your thoughts? This is a good question. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on channels for specific genres? I guess relating to YouTube.
I think it can be smart if that's the route that you want to go down. If you'd like to just focus on one genre on a YouTube channel, I think it's great because I know a lot of producers have spoke on, focus on one niche and stuff like that. So if that's how you want to go about it, then do so. I would just say make sure that you can consistently do it and not spread yourself too thin if you're going to focus on either doing different channels or multiple channels for certain genres, because it's easy to think like, yeah, I'm gonna have like 12 different channels for all these types of genres I got going on, and then you're only really giving 20% to each channel. So I would just make sure that you can upkeep with everything that you're looking to do if you decide to go the route of focusing on different genres for separate channels.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think most producers who are successful on YouTube are doing that anyway. They're just
Hmm.
not advertising a genre. They just have a sound. You
Yes.
don't expect no one ever went to Cash Money AP's channel looking for an R&B beat, I
Hmm.
don't think, or an EDM beat.
Right. Exactly.
That you knew what you were getting. Same with
Exactly.
like, any producer in the industry. If you want an R&B beat, you're probably not gonna go to um I don't know, like Murder on the Beat. Like if
Right.
you want a hard beat, a single, something crossover, you're gonna go to him.
Yeah.
That's an interesting sound, whatever
Yeah, it
whatever.
is. I actually don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, well, then it's a mystery. We'll sample it later. You switched up your Instagram strategy a little
Yes.
bit, I've noticed,
Yeah.
and it looks like all of your content is now more uniform,
Yes.
whereas I think you were probably experimenting with looks. What
Yes.
have you learned from this new strategy?
So I have definitely I've been uploading more as of recently, because like I've mentioned in the past, I have tried out different things. Like I was uploading 3 times a week, and that just wasn't really helping. So I've been uploading more, and I've really been hyper focusing on reels because I am part of the reels bonus program. So I do get paid from my reels on a monthly basis. So focusing on that has definitely helped. And as far as how I do it, I have a theme. So I'm sure if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see it's like picture, then a video, then picture, and that's kind of how I do it. And that's just something I've stuck to. And I like to upload 2 to 3 times a day, which I know is like what that's a lot of content. Again, as I've mentioned time and time again, I do this full time. I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't have any other thing that I have to do that would take me away from being able to be doing this full time. So that's another thing I try to preach on is that like you don't have to be like me or anybody that you see that's like, yo, I'm doing this full time. Like if you're doing it full time, then this is what I do full time. I treat it just like if I had a regular job. So that's why I'm able to put out as much content as I do because I have the time to do so. And so everything is very situational. So yes, my Instagram has become more uniform. And speaking of Instagram, because I want to talk about in this interview real quick, I did get posted by Timberland. Did you see that?
No,
and I
congratulations,
got
though.
and I got followed by him as well. Because I made a video about Beat Club and just how great it is. Because I'm a VIP member and I just made a video, but he posted it on his Instagram, and that happened like literally within the last week. So that was pretty big for me, and that's helped gain some traction for my page as well. Um, and that really goes to say like keep putting out content because obviously I did not make that video as the main goal of getting posted by anyone. I just put it out there because I genuinely like the platform and being a part of that opportunity. So again, for anyone that's making content, like just keep putting out content because that's how a lot of these guys and and not guys in specific to gender, just anyone that's on the platform, regardless of gender, is that like putting out stuff consistently and putting out your content, you're gonna get to the quality. I mean, we've seen it with a bunch of producers like Ed Talenti. He's a great example. Like his growth on his YouTube and just all across the board has just been so incredible to see. Simon Cerveda, he's another great one. You know what I mean? Me, I'm getting, you know what I mean? Like a lot of us that have been consistently uploading content for years, you know what I mean? Then it comes down to the fact that of being consistent and not overthinking and not being a perfectionist when it comes to the content that you do create. It just definitely leads to a lot of opportunities that I personally have been able to gain.
Yeah, I wanna talk about that. So, a
Yes.
lot of producers are really reluctant to post content,
Yes.
especially video content, but content period.
Hmm.
Um, some of it is, you know, quality level, and
Yes.
when you mention I'm thinking of all these people, whether it's Simon, whether it's Ocean, when you go
Ocean,
back
oh yeah,
to
he's great.
yeah, but when you go back to everyone's original content, including yours and mine,
Yeah.
the quality was pretty low when we first
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
And but it evolves,
Yes.
and what's your advice to producers who are hesitant to post because they're just not adept at video and they're not experienced with creating, what they perceive as higher quality video? And then also, how did you incrementally get better with the quality of your content?
I would say one, don't play the comparison game. I think a lot of times, we may look at these other creators who are, you know, 100,000 hours into their, career, and we don't consider the fact that everybody started at zero. You know what I mean? And when you put out that first video, that's where it starts, you know. And I mean, I put out my first Instagram video back in 2016. You know what I mean? And it's all about just starting. You know, I think that's where, like you just said, like a lot of producers have a hard time just even getting started, and you just got to get started. Yeah, I mean, there's no secret formula in doing it or video creation. And in regards to getting better, I mean, I watched a lot of tutorials. I observed a lot of people that I liked how they did their content, and tried to figure out like, oh, how can I implement these types of techniques and into my own content. And again, at least for myself, I mean, I've had to definitely be creative in how I create my content, because for someone with a physical disability, it is harder for me to get like transportation to certain places. So, you know, a lot of my videos are in the same exact place. You know what I mean? But I have to get creative in how I edit, or maybe I, you know, use a green screen of myself to put me in space or something. You know, I really just make it creative based on utilizing the resources that I have available to me, and not overthinking the process of creating. Because again, you never know what type of content and what content is going to resonate with people. Because you just don't. I mean, so I would just say for my producers out there, just put out the videos, put out the content. Uh, just have fun with it. Don't overthink it too much. And I know that's easier said than done, but that would be my advice.
Yeah, what have you found for you? What types of content seem to work the best?
So I it depends on what platform we're talking about. So when it comes to Instagram, reels do really well for me, and I do like skit videos. So when I do like skits, that does really well. Also the videos that I upload where I ask people to tell me which beat they like better, when I have like two beats in the video, those do really well because it creates engagement. So any video that you can do that creates like some type of engagement, whether it's asking a question or something that's funny and entertaining, those are videos that have done well. And then if you're like in the educational space, and what I mean by that is there's producers that teach you stuff, right? You know, maybe it's teaching other producers or teaching artists, then those videos also can do well if you're in that space. But for me personally, skits and then asking people which video they like better has done really well. And then I've done some motivational like type content, but I've really stuck to more so the two types of content I just spoke about.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask a direct question.
Of course.
Does the whole Instagram Reels thing, is that profitable?
I mean, I have gotten a consistent amount of money from getting reels. Now I would say here's the deal. One, it does depend on how many views. So for me, for the times that I've gotten for the program, like it says like you can get up to $1,000 if you get like 1 million views. Now I have not reached 1 million views, you know, throughout the time that I have. So I get on average like 200 something dollars each time. And that's even when I wasn't posting that much. So now that I'm posting more, I know that that number is going to increase. But when I was only even posting a few reels like a week, then I still was making like 200 and like 50 something per month, which is still extra income, you know what I mean, that you're getting. And I mean, I get paid from reels. I also get paid from TikTok, and my next move is to get paid through YouTube as well through AdSense. So um, it's definitely good money for something that I was already doing and making content for.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. So let's talk Beat ID.
Okay.
Last time we spoke, you had just signed up for Beat ID.
Hmm.
What was your strategy for using it? I mean, did you just pick, like your top selling beats, or what made you
Yeah,
pick the
I
beat?
just picked the top selling beat. And I haven't been recently using Beat ID as much, just because my focus has changed a little bit in regards to that. I've just had different things to focus on, especially now since I've been submitting for more like placement opportunities. So I haven't been using beat ID as much, but I'm still getting like the notifications that, oh, we picked up such and such opportunity from this beat that you submitted. I'm like, oh, okay, but yeah, as of right now, it hasn't been my main focus, but it's not something that I've written off obviously completely. It's just I've changed focuses as of right now.
What did you find when you were running BID searches?
Oh man, I found a lot of gems. I didn't know how many songs were actually used with the beats that I did. You know what I mean? I guess you don't really think about every single sale that you've ever made, on a beat. But and how many ways that the beats have been used. Like some people are using them for vlogs or just their gaming channels and other things. So it wasn't always songs, and that's really cool to see. Just the way that people utilize them, and then I would comment on those videos and be like, hey, thanks for using my beats, and that also created further connections with those individuals. So honestly, it's a great way to be able to make more connections with other people that maybe you didn't even know they used your beats.
Yeah, Cloud9 was saying something like that, where
Hmm.
it wasn't even a matter of necessarily tracking down people that stole your beats. It was just fortifying the connections that you already had, and then turning maybe that one beat sale into, second, third, maybe some kind of deeper relationship.
Hmm. Hmm. Are you talking?
Oh my god, yeah,
I
I
thought it was
posted
my
the
headphones. I was like, oh no.
no, it was me asking you how you got laid from Reels. I think a lot of people would like to know that.
As as my monthly amount increases, my girlfriend just gets more and more happy about it. No, but how I get paid from Reels is I got invited to the Reels bonus program, and it's honestly just kind of random. I just got a notification like randomly last year that like, hey, you can start getting paid from Reels, and then I said okay, and that's how it works. So um there isn't like an application that you can do or anything like that that I know of, and I know creators that have more followers than me that are not in the Reels bonus program. So it really just depends on how Instagram, I guess, is feeling. But I've been in the bonus program for several months now.
All right, we have a few minutes left, so let me try to get some of the more substantial questions out of the way. What would you say is a lesser known or lesser discussed marketing technique that you've used over the last year for your beats?
Man, I'm gonna go back to Twitter. I feel like Twitter is still untapped, and I think a lot of producers feel like. Have you heard about the whole engagement tweet conversation?
Yeah, and people
Yeah.
say, anytime you post a tweet that gets engagement, there's always that. It's like we love to throw terms around. If someone's suddenly successful and you have no idea what their background was because you couldn't, then they're an industry plant. If my tweet goes viral, it was an engagement tweet. So yeah.
Yes. So I would say Twitter is still really untapped in the sense of like something that I've included in my marketing strategy has been videos. And that's helped me a lot. Posting videos has been super helpful. And I don't have some secret formula in regards to like what I say in the tweet or anything like that. I just kind of tweet whatever, and I've also been doing this like MP tip a day where I give a tip for like 30 days. And I've been doing that, and that's also been helpful. And my tips that I give are just more so based off of experience and just what I've been currently experiencing, and it's for producers and artists, and that's also helped create a lot of engagement as well because people are looking forward to what my next tip is going to be for everyone
Oh,
out
they're
there. So
they're good tips. So, the whole connection between you and Cloud9 Music, like the similarities, is not lost on me because I feel like he does something similar where he'll start a thread and make it very clear that it's a thread, and then people anticipate subsequent tweets. Same with you, the way you formatted your MP producer tips, you number them. So
yes.
you can always anticipate, you know, if you're on 18, you're waiting for 19, 20, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yes. So yeah, that's something that I feel like I've been uh, incorporating more into my marketing technique, and that's just one. I just started doing that because I already like making video content anyway, and it was someone gave me that advice to start doing like tips, and I was like, oh man, I could do that, and so I just put that and started putting it on Twitter, and that's also helped create engagement for me as well.
So two related questions. Mikey made it wants to know, how do you post beats to Twitter? And you did say video. So are you
Yes.
using a similar format as you are for TikTok, where it's, you know, which beat do you like better, that kind of thing?
No, I typically just do one beat in the video. Um, and then if I'm doing it with like a collaborator, then I'll tag them, and that also helps create engagement as well. So no, I typically am not doing the whole like which beat do you like better thing. It's typically one beat per video, and then I also use InShot. That's INSHOT to import my video into, and then I also upload the beat audio from like my Google Drive, and then I remove the original sound that's in the video. So because people ask me like, "Oh, how is the audio so clear?" and I just am using the actual beat audio, and I remove the original one so that it's the best quality, and then everything just because I'm listening to the beat, through my laptop when I record, so that's why everything's on time, and then I just align the beat when I
Hmm.
upload it to make sure it matches with like my head movements and all that stuff.
And are you using hashtags on your tweets, or they're just doing well as they
They're
are?
just doing well as they are. Typically, I'm not using hashtags. The only time I use a hashtag is if it's trending. So, like, sometimes there's like trending hashtags that you'll see being used, and I might incorporate it, but typically it's all just organically. And I built up my Twitter in the past few months relatively quickly. I mean, I'm almost at 4K followers, which I know is not like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but everyone's very engaged, so it has been really nice. And I've have a lot of impressions. I mean, I know upwards this month. I think I'm close to like 800,000 impressions. I'd have to look, but just for this month so far. Um, and yeah, I have a lot of impressions on my tweets, which has brought a lot of traffic and new eyes on my stuff.
So we're running out of time. I want to hit you with this question because this is a pin tweet. Your beat prices changed last month,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
think they changed even around the time that we spoke last.
Hmm.
You're now offering a 199 tier for unlimited rights with stems. So what, given that you've changed your price points at least a couple times within the last 6 months, what have you learned about price points, and what has worked for you?
So the thing is, the reason I have changed my price points is one, I'm really a tester. Like I like to see, what kind of works for me, and like, so like I mentioned the last time, I did get sales when it came to having the $99 leashes. It's just at that point in time, after a while, that just didn't feel genuine to me. Like it didn't feel right, like having that price point at this point in time. So that's why even at my 49 price point, I've liked where that's at. And then I've always played around with the whole adding stems option, and people just more artists wanted that available, not because they were like, yo, I need to have it mixed. It's just, sometimes it's just better to have those things offered, if clients are wanting it or need it for whatever reasons. And so that's why I added the stems option. But for me, I've just always tested like different price points to see, looking at my data and what works for me, which is why I did change my price point. But right now, especially, I would say this now, I'm much more okay with where I'm at when it comes to pricing. Um, and it's been working out well for me for where I'm, at currently.
Okay, I was gonna ask another question, but we're at 2:59 Central Standard Time, so that's barely a minute. How do people follow you? Actually, matter of fact, before I end by letting you shout out your social media, you're gonna be back with Ellipsy, right? Pretty soon.
Yes, on the 23rd of June.
Yeah, so it's coming right up. We're gonna have Minnie back. I'm gonna ask some of these more general questions of both you and Ellipsy. She's one of your collaborators.
Yes, she's great.
So she's also on BeatStars, been selling beats too, and using Twitter like crazy. Even though
Yeah.
I do feel like, didn't she? I'll ask her when she's on. Didn't she tease the idea of getting off Twitter at some point? I don't know. Either way, I'm glad she didn't make that choice. If that was a real tweet that I'm remembering from her. So, how do people follow you and connect with you?
So you can check me out on Mini Producer. That's Instagram, Twitter. Then I'm Mini Producer Official on TikTok, and you can reach out to me and get my email and stuff like that to connect with me. Because you can only connect with me, no management, no anything like that. You can connect with me to establish a relationship. But as always, it's been fun to be on here. You know what I mean? And I'm not coming after you for not uploading our collaboration yet, but when
You
you
should
do,
at some point,
yeah,
please, put the pressure on me because I
no,
forget.
when you do, it's greatly appreciated. And no, again, this was really fun to be able to have these conversations, and it's good to be back, and I'll be back again on June 23rd
Yes.
to talk with Ellipsy. So this is not the last time you'll be seeing me.
No, we're not counting it as part four since that's more of a panel, but part four could happen. Once again, I
Could have.
appreciate you and I appreciate everybody in the chat.
Thank you,
Um,
everyone. Thank you.
I like food stuff. I'm trying to yeah. Thank you everyone. Oh yeah, and then next week, Cloud9 Music. Thank you for reminding me. April is financial literacy month. I didn't realize that, but I'm going to pretend that this is why we scheduled this session for next week.
Perfect.
Um, my friend Memory and my colleague Cloud9, we're gonna have a panel on financial literacy for
Awesome.
specifically for producers because Memory came on and revealed about all
Yes.
the ways he kind of struggled with money,
Mhm. Mhm.
and taxes and this and that. And Cloud9 is someone who's actually published articles on financial literacy as a college student and then post college and so forth. So I'm looking forward to that. We're probably going to make ourselves uncomfortable, but until then, and uncomfortable conversations are productive conversations. Until then, everyone have an amazing weekend. I'll catch you next Thursday, same time, same place, right here on BeatStars Live. Peace.
Yes. Thank you. Peace.